Hello everyone, my name is Chuck. You're watching episode 146 of Let's Plant. In the last episode, I was going through the plans for my upcoming pergola. And in this episode, we're going to start building it. Hi! Hi! So you're asking how I managed to do this? They're just in the background. We interrupt this program for a very important announcement. I'm sorry, I screwed up. The previous episode was supposed to come out on a very particular day, and I made this promise to a friend that I would attach a special message in it. I wasn't able to edit it in because I already had the episode prepared in advance. So if you're watching this, you already know what this is about. The backstory here is that it was my friend Gloria's birthday last Sunday, and her husband Nabi wanted to have a surprise for her, a surprise message for her in one of the episodes. I was supposed to include a birthday greeting in the previous episode, but I completely forgot to insert that little message in the episode. The thing is, Nabi contacted me about a couple of weeks ago just to include this message, and I said yes, of course, because they are both my friends. But I got sidetracked by a lot of projects, as you have seen in the previous episodes. You know, the craft market and the pergola, the freestanding pergola that I'm currently working on. So yeah, I guess it must have escaped my mind. So Gloria, this is all on me. Nabi wanted to make it very special, but I dropped the ball on this one. So yeah.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Back to the program. So like every DIY project I've ever made, the day starts in Bunnings. And I came home with a bunch of building materials. This includes timber and some concrete. I knew it was going to rain today, so I made sure I spent a bit of time this morning gathering all of the building materials. So I have all of them right here in front of me. So if you recall the design that I made in Minecraft in the previous episode, what I basically wanted to do was to have a couple of arches on both sides, and connecting those two would be a bunch of beams. If you look at the things that I have in front of me, I have an assortment of posts of different sizes. There are 4 of the 2.4 meter posts, and there's a couple of the 1.8 meters. And then we have this. These are going to be the horizontal beams that would be connecting both of the arches, and these are also 2.4 meters. While doing my bit of shopping at Bunnings today, I learned a lot about the Australian standards when it comes to timber. There are such things as the hazard rating, which is expressed in a scale of H1 to I think H6. I'm not really sure. I might be wrong there. But basically, it describes the type of conditions that they are rated to work in. All of the posts that I got are H4, hazard 4 rating. They are treated in such a way that they could be used in ground and out in the open. These beams here, these are H3. They are designed to be used outdoors but not in ground. I could have gone with H4 on all of them, but H3 is cheaper by a bit, and it's not like I'm going to bury this underground, but the opportunity to save is right there, so I didn't want to pass on that. Another standard that I learned about today was the F rating, which is basically a number describing how strong the wood is. Essentially, the higher the F rating, the more sturdy the timber is, and it's less likely to warp or bend during stress. I think my decision to go with F7 is about right, because in terms of strength or load, of course, the posts need to be strong enough to withstand the winds and withstand the weight that would be on top of them. As for these beams, I'm thinking of hanging some baskets in the long run, so they would need to be able to lift some load as well. So I made sure to pick some of the stronger timber available. To reinforce a post, of course, I would need to set them in concrete, but I'm not sure if this is enough. I think I might need another bag, but as you could probably hear in the background, it's raining. So it's not like I would be able to mix the concrete today and set it out. But at the very least, I would want to be able to mark the areas where I would be digging the holes, and even dig the holes themselves. And maybe throughout the rest of the week, I could work on setting in the posts. So I don't think there's a rush to get another bag today. But still, it feels so nice seeing all of the materials here, and it helps me better understand the scope and the size of the project ahead. You know what? A lot of friends on Facebook would post about them being so thankful for their husbands for creating a pergola or a shade house for their succulents. Unfortunately for me, I am the husband, so I have to do it myself. I might need a bit of help doing all of this though, because doing this alone would be quite difficult, especially when it comes to precision work or trying to get things level. So yeah, I might get a few friends to help. In terms of tools, these are some of the things that I would need. Of course, I would need to dig the hole, so I have this digging bar right here. And leveling tools here. This is for corners or for posts, just to make sure that they are perfectly level, no, the way they are standing or the way they are set vertically. And then we have this one, spirit level for horizontal applications. And of course, I've got this clear vinyl tubing. This would allow me to find the same level on both ends. So this would be an alternative way to get the horizontal level perfect. To create the notches on the timber, I would need some chisels. So I bought the cheapest set I could find. I think this one just went for $13, 3 different sizes, so not bad. I wonder if this would break after use. Of course, some nails. These are 100mm nails, this long. That way, if I create a notch on the timber, they would be going through it, you know, enough clearance. And measuring tape, a hammer, and probably other things that are not so obvious to me right now, but I'll grab them as we need them. It looks like the rain has finally slowed down. There's still a bit of drizzles coming, but it's nothing. So this is the Patreon shrine, and what I'm thinking of is having the structure right in the middle, right smack in the middle, you know, somewhere around here. And this means that I would need to make sure that the beams are perfectly centered. And you know, just to get a better idea, I think it would be nice if I lay them down now. So here's one of the beams. This is 2.4 meters from side to side, 2.4 meters in length. And in order to be perfectly centered, I would need to take half of this, which is about 1.2 meters. Just see where 1.2 meters goes. So 1.2 is somewhere around here. And I have to make sure that it is perfectly aligned with the center of this landscape. So I think this looks about right. So this would be the placement of the beams at the center of the 2 arches. And now I need to work out where the 2 arches will go. Let me grab more planks. Just to be easier on myself, I just grabbed the 1.8 meter ones rather than the 2.4, because those would be a lot heavy. And the next part here is to decide how much space I will be giving on either side, since, as you remember, I want to have this bit of overhang on both sides. And besides, having the 2 posts a bit closer to the middle would mean that there would be a lot more strength, a lot more integrity in terms of the load that it could carry. For the overhang, I was originally thinking of 300mm, which would be somewhere around here. So if we gave 300mm on either side, this would be how it would look like. I'm tempted to move the 2 posts a bit more closer. 400 each side. 400 on each side doesn't look that bad. The overhang is more pronounced. It would, design-wise, I think it is more pleasant that way. So I might go with this. Yeah, I think this would work. Now, when thinking about the post holes, I would need to clear some space around where I would be doing them. Judging from the position of this plank here, one post would be somewhere around here, behind this pot, or between these 2 pots, and the other would be somewhere around here. Now, a little bit of reorganization would be needed. I would need to remove these things here just to make space. It would be a lot easier to work here if there's nothing in the way. So that's for the 2 rear posts. As for the front, I would need to measure about 1.8 meters from the back. So if I was going to do this somewhere around there, 1.8 would be somewhere here. Overall, this looks like I might need to redesign my Patreon shrine a bit, just nudge things forward, maybe reduce the space between the pedestals and the sunken bowls. I'll have to decide what else I need to do, but for now, That seems to be the likely path. Hopefully it doesn't rain again this afternoon, because that would give me the chance to move things around and get ready for the digging. It looks like those stumps have completely rotten because they are a lot lighter than I remember them to be. When I set them in a year or so ago, they were so heavy. I was straining so hard and I just had to roll them in. But it appears that I could lift them now. And I definitely did not get any stronger than before. Sedentary life. This has become so... what's the opposite of dense? So not dense that it's so easy to lift it now. That presents us with another opportunity. We need to change the pedestals into something else. Part of me is thinking of just stacking more rocks, but you know, there's an opportunity for a new design here. Yeah, I think that would be the better idea. So to recap, I'm just putting it out there that I'm going to redo or at least rework most of the parts of the design here. I will be leaving this sunken bowls as is. I think they're looking great. Maybe I could just improve the spaces in between. And as for the back, since I'll be placing some posts in there, I would need to create a design that would work around those posts. So yeah, posts first, then design later. This is so exciting. In order to proceed, I would need to mark the spots where the posts will be going in. So I'll just be laying some, well, I'm using pots and place them approximately where I want to place the posts. I'm just getting rid of some of these rocks. Maybe one would be somewhere here, and I have to measure around, what was it? If I'm taking out 400 millimeters from both ends, that leaves me with, for 8 to 4, 16. So 1600. I need to measure 1600 here. So somewhere in this spot. The other two posts would be 1.8 meters away from those. So let's just take 1.8 meters and mark that with pots. With that, I think we have our basic frame now. Now that I've defined the placement of one of the holes, I can start digging. A day has passed since the last clip, and we already have the post holes dug. We might still have to go a bit deeper, but we're close. I think it's about 300 millimeters so far, and I'm hoping to get at least or around 400 because I want only 2 meters of the post above ground. And the game plan is that once we have the holes deep enough, we are going to insert one of the poles first. So if we would start with this corner, we would be making sure that this post is perfectly level. Once we have this perfectly level and rotated just right, such that it is parallel to the fence, then we will set it in concrete. But before we do that, this post has been treated against fungi and rot, but it is not yet ready for the elements, for weather, or for the rains and water, basically moisture, which means that we would need to prime this first with paint. I still have leftover weatherproof paint from when we painted the front, so we could still use that. I still haven't decided what color I would want my pergola to be, but any paint primer would do. We would just paint over it once I have decided on the color. Let's say we would work on this one next. This is the partner of the one in front. We would be doing the same steps, making sure that they are perfectly aligned, they are level, and we would be using our various leveling tools. And once these two are in place, we would be adding the beam on top to complete the arch. And of course, we're going to repeat those exact steps on the other two sets of holes. Once both of the arches are up, that's when we can finally work on adding the horizontal beams. As for the horizontal beams, we're going to create notches on either side because those would be resting on top of the two arches. So one notch would be right here, another right here. And as per design, I've determined that I would want the notches to be around 400 millimeters deep. So something like this. That would leave around 1600 between posts, and I'm estimating it to be something around this distance. So yeah, but of course, before working with all of those timber outdoors, we are going to seal them, make them weatherproof, and that involves painting. So let's get on that now.
I got nothing more to lose. Recover your eyes, this one's for you. They say you have to live to learn. Maybe that's why I crash and burn. I got news for you. I'm jumping up Kilimanjaro, Kilimanjaro. Listen to my drum as I bang. I'm not gonna be silent in this beer I wang. Oh, you know I'm not that kind of girl. I'm much better off in the underworld.
It was already very dark by the time we set in the first two posts on the ground, so I have to do this outro in a rush. But the next episode will be coming out probably really soon or in the weekend. We would be having multiple episodes this week because I'm working on the pergola for a few hours after work in the afternoon, and I have a feeling I'll be done with it before the weekend. So yeah, this pergola project is an ongoing series, so make sure to subscribe. Part 2 will be coming out in a few days. I think there would be 3 parts. This would be a trilogy. So make sure you're subscribed if you want to follow the progress. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.